Good day. Are we having fun yet? You don't have to answer that question. But that's what my coach asked me every day during football practice. And it was really hot. It was summer. And we were pushing the pads on the sled. The sled is this monstrous creation, contraption. The coach would stand on the sled. It weighed a half a ton. And it had all these pads on it, and we would pretend to be blocking other players. And it was excruciating, and it seemed like we were on that for hours. And every so often the coach would say, "Are we having fun yet?" And if you didn't answer yes with a smile, you got to take 20 laps around the football field. So we all really learned, and I really learned, how to say, "Yes, I'm having fun." Yes, with a smile. To get out of running around the football field 20 laps. And it's very interesting because now I realize that the message, that coach, but also the message got through to me, and it stuck with me all these years. And I still decide to say yes to the universe, say yes to the situation, yes, I'm having fun, and do whatever I can to create fun so that I don't have to take those 20 laps around karma, around the football field, around the old patterns. So it was a very helpful, wise service that coach provided me. Of course, it took me 40 years to realize that, but nonetheless, it served me very well. And this video is about fun and fortune, about how fun leads to fortune. This is about the physics of fun, the power of fun, of having fun, authentic fun, spontaneous fun, play. Unfortunately, in our society, not many people realize the connection between fun and fortune, fun and prosperity, fun and creative ability, fun and magic. Play and prosperity actually have a very magical connection. When you're having fun, you create and attract good people, opportunities, resources, new ideas, adventure, and creative power. The power actually comes from the feeling, the energy, the vibration of feeling excited, of playing, being excited about life, feeling the fun of life. And that actually gives us the power to attract what we want in life. You could call it charisma, you could call it personal power, you could call it the law of attraction. But it is the physics of fun. It's in the physics of the universe that when we're feeling good, we attract more of the same. Situations, people, activities, opportunities that are good for us, that are harmonious. Where did we get the idea that we had to be serious? That life is serious? Well, we got it from my coach, obviously, and unfortunately my father. But unfortunately, we got it from a lot of fathers, a lot of coaches, a lot of mothers, a lot of teachers, a lot of adults. It's the message of Western society about working hard, struggling, and life is serious. It's a serious business. You can't watch any video or TV show without one character, if not 20 times, at least once, somebody says, "Well, you know, this is serious. Oh, let me talk to you seriously." But actually, you know, the opposite is true. The lighter we touch mass consciousness, the lighter we touch the world, the easier our life is. The easier it is to create what you want. The easier it is to flow through and navigate all of life's challenges. The more fun you're having, the more you can make it play. When you play with the universe plays back. The freer you are from past experiences, the freer you are from your rigid programming, your restrictive conditioning, limited ideas, the freer you are to attract and create what you want in life. Carolyn Mace has a very powerful line that I remember once from one of her tapes. She said, when your energy field is merged vibrationally, energetically, when your energy field is merged with the tribal collective consciousness, the mass consciousness, you can only evolve at the level, at the pace of mass consciousness. What a drag, huh? But the next line is the kicker. She said, but when you withdraw your energy field, however you do it, but when you withdraw your energy field from the tribal collective mass consciousness of limited beliefs, struggle, when you withdraw your energy field from the energy field of mass consciousness, you can evolve at any rate, in any manner, in any way that you choose. That's the gift. That's the exciting part. And that's what this video is about, is to help you to shed the trappings, the limitations, the blinders of Western civilization, Western programming, or whatever programming you had. Because all programming is limited. All beliefs are limited. And to free yourself from limited beliefs and programming conditioning so that you can start to have fun on this planet. Because when you feel good, you start attracting good people, good moments, good experiences. I mean, what do we all want? Everybody just wants to feel good. I mean, that's why we have parties and go drag racing and swim and fall in love, because we want to feel good. Everything people do is actually motivated by wanting to feel good. And even when we're trying to get rid of pain or to get rid of something, we're doing it in order to feel good, to feel better. So we're always moving toward that. And by awakening the goodness within you, by awakening the feeling of feeling good, you start to attract more opportunities. You start to attract your heart's desire. You start to attract good fortune. So you see, fun leads to fortune. So if you would like, you might get a pen and paper. At this point, you could pause the video, get a pen and paper, and maybe write down some of your responses to these next 3 questions. And we're going to ask some questions, different questions, at the end of the video. And it might be fun to compare the results and see what happens when you start expanding into the notion, expanding into the truth and the reality in your own experience that fun leads to fortune. So if you would, the first question is, if you knew in your knowing, in your heart, in the field of the heart, if you knew how to attract money, prosperity, abundance, if you knew how to attract prosperity that was in a way that was fun and easy, how would you do it? If you knew how to attract prosperity in a way that was fun and easy, what would you do? And this is a question for your higher self, for the universe. It's a prayer, it's a request that you're turning over to higher awareness. You don't have to answer it right away, yet some ideas might come in, or some options or alternatives or pictures or images. So if you want, just write down whatever comes. If nothing comes, that's fine. Okay, the second question is, if you knew how to make a good living doing something that you enjoyed, naturally enjoyed, what would you do? If you knew how to make a good living, in your knowing, if you knew how to make a good living doing something that was enjoyable for you, what would you do? How would you do it? What might it be? So we ask this question and we let it go. We turn it over to higher awareness. And the final question is, if you knew how to live your life in a way that was lighter and more flowing, how would you live your life? If you knew how to live your life in a way that was lighter, more fun, more flowing, how would you do it? What would you do? What would your life look like? Ask and you shall receive. So we're asking, we're letting go, and then by signs and synchronicity and guidance, the answer will come. So just make any notes you want to make, maybe images or ideas, whatever came up. And then we're going to go through a little bit more in the video and then ask some other questions and notice what's new and different about how you feel about the questions, about what comes up when the question is asked, and just see how much you've expanded into the world of play and fun. You know, in our culture, fun has a bad reputation. But actually, fun is behind everything. The only reason people do anything is because they're urged on some level to interact in a way that feels more comfortable to them. Actually, everybody is very intuitive. They're drawn, they're guided by their intuition or their higher self to fulfill their purpose. And their purpose is actually aligned with their real passion. It might take a while for it to show up. It might take a lifetime for it to show up, but it doesn't need to. You can allow it to show up right now during this video. It's not selfish to be having fun with how you make a living, with life. It's not self-centered. It's not insensitive. We don't have to withhold our joy in life just because others are choosing or whatever are experiencing not being happy. Very often we don't allow ourselves to be happy because we focus on that other people are not happy, and therefore we feel that it's not okay for us to be happy. But actually, happiness is natural, it's normal, and it's healthy. Even though you might not be seeing authentic happiness that much around you, it's actually a very natural and normal and healthy way to move through life. Look at babies, look at children, look at animals. And this playfulness, this aliveness, this spontaneity does lead to success in life, in attracting a wonderful, mutual, loving relationship, in attracting abundance and prosperity. So fun does equal profit. Studies have found, and anyone who's done business knows, that the public is actually buying a feeling, not a product. The public is actually attracted to their perception, their idea that this, whatever you're selling or being with you or being a friend with you, they're actually buying the notion that this will make them happy. They're actually wanting to feel happiness, and so they don't really want the product, they want what the product is going to give them, or what they believe the product is going to give them. And this is really okay, because really that's why we're all here. We're really all here to trick and cajole and wake each other up to the fact that life was meant to be happy, and it can be happy. In a second, in a millisecond, you can shift from the programming, the seriousness, to lightness, openness, playfulness, and the creativity that comes with it. You know, Toyota is pretty smart. They have one of the best mottos that's ever been created. Oh, what a feeling. They don't say, oh, what a car, because someone there knows that people are not really buying cars, they're buying a feeling. And they have this sense that a Toyota and those ads and the commercials and the people in the ads and commercials and what this certain car might attract, that's going to bring them happiness. When I worked at Erewhon Natural Foods 40 years ago in Boston, I worked at a natural food store, one of the first in the country. And one of my rules or my guidelines that I laid down with mock seriousness the first day was that everything that we did at the store had to be fun. Now, I got a lot of rolled eyebrows on that. People said, well, how can you make unloading a truck be fun? And they would give me challenges for, mopping the floor at the end of the day, talking to certain of our customers, doing inventory. They would take the most laborious and unpleasant jobs that we all had to do in this big natural food store, and they would challenge me to make it fun. And it was a fun challenge. So, like unloading a truck. So I made up a song. So people could sing that song or other songs as they unloaded the truck, keeping the beat with the 50-pound bags of grain or rice or whatever it was. And so every job, every activity we had in the store, the first focus was, how can we make this fun? And when they asked that question, if we knew, how could we make this fun? With 5 or 10 people asking that, people would come up with some really good suggestions, some really good ideas. And not only did we have fun, but when I took over, after a few months, that store produced 3 times the amount of revenue and income and handled 3 times the number of people that it had ever handled before in the history of that store. And we were all having fun. So you see, fun is a win-win situation. You win, the world wins, people win. I grew up with two sets of parents, and one of them were my biological parents. I already gave you a hint about my father, and my mother also was very serious. But then I had a second set of parents. I call these my chosen parents, or my chosen family, my spiritual family. And at 20 years old, I chose to no longer be that connected with my biological parents. I would speak to them once in a while and I would share with them, but I got as far away vibrationally, energetically as I could from my hometown and my parents and that seriousness. Because the three teachers that I chose, my new parents, one was a kahuna from Hawaii, one was a Native American medicine man, and one was a Japanese fellow who taught ancient Japanese ways. And these three guys were never serious. Sometimes they would play serious if they were listening to somebody's troubles, but they always had a wink in their eye, they always had something up their sleeve, and they were always plotting and planning to help shift somebody out of their prism, the way they were seeing the world through the prism of their views, their belief system. And they were always conspiring with play, joy, joking, humor to help someone to escape the prison of their own mind, the prison of their own seriousness. So that was very helpful to have those teachers. Of course, I attracted them. I was interested in attracting them. And it's led my whole life. I've used their approach to life, that spontaneity, the innocence and playfulness of a child, to attract creativity, to attract abundance, resources, opportunities. Fun is the greatest lubricant in life. Fun can get anything unstuck. Anything that's not flowing, that's not moving easily, that's awkward, heavy, not successful, not happening, not working. You just add a little play, add a little spontaneous humor, add a little lightness, and things will start moving. Things will start moving in the direction of harmony, balance, success. Every aspect of life benefits from joy, from fun, from play. Of course, sometimes it seems, at least, as if we need to be serious. At least we're taught that. But what's really called for is simply focus. Sometimes life challenges call to us to be strong, to be focused and clear and present. And actually the easiest way, the most powerful way to get clear, present, grounded, focused, and strong is to be having fun, is to be enjoying what you're doing, is to be authentically in your heart, to be doing something that's real for you, that has real interest. Because when we're doing something that we really enjoy, that's right for us, that feels right, that brings us joy, that's when we're actually the most present. And when we're the most present, we're the most in touch with our heart, our intuition, our creativity. And we're actually the most grounded, the most connected with Mother Earth, with the divine, with who we are, with our soul. So we're actually the strongest and the most resourceful. So when you're having fun and doing something enjoyable, you're actually more efficient, more resourceful, and actually more effective than when you're serious. And what you can do actively is to make room for play, to consciously decide right now, to set the intention that you're going to make room for play, for fun in your life. If you knew how to make room for more play and fun in your life, what would you do? Make that prayer, that request, then let it go. Let it go and see what life brings you. You can welcome serendipity. Invite surprise. Look for the unexpected. Look for unexpected income from unexpected sources and people and activities. And look for unexpected outcomes. Unexpected resolution, unexpected serendipitous harmony. If you look for the unexpected, you'll find it. If you look outside the box, outside your past experience, you'll find new and different and very exciting, very creative, very inventive solutions and possibilities that you've never even dreamed of before. inside the box. And fun and play is a wonderful way to keep yourself outside the box, out there in that realm of infinite possibility. In fact, it's very helpful also to be willing to allow income as well as outcomes in your life to not make sense, to not fit your picture, to not fit your past, to not fit your beliefs. If you consciously make the intention to allow the universe to support you in ways that don't make sense to your mind, then you can be supported in ways that only make sense to the heart, to the intuition, to magic, to miracles. And that's the way you can invite even greater success with love, with money, with friendship, with spirit, with health. And notice how synchronicity plays in your life. Notice how it playfully brings you things, brings you guidance, brings you fun. And you know, I talk about Western society being this way, that way, our culture. But it's very interesting because the people who our society, our America at least, holds to be among the brightest and wisest people who ever existed in the United States of America, our forefathers actually knew the power and the wisdom of fun, of play, of happiness. And they wrote in the Declaration of Independence in a way where we were declaring our independence from not only the serious British, the British Empire, the controlling British Empire, but also all their rules, all their limitations, all their restrictions. That's what the Declaration of Independence was. We're declaring our independence from the limitations of being associated with a very serious culture. And they wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Now, originally, when they were discussing the Declaration of Independence and representatives from the 13 original colonies, when they met at the Independence Hall in Philadelphia, they met for months and they argued. And they were wanting to write their document of freedom, of liberation. And they argued over the last word in the whole document, and that was the word property. And because they knew that most Americans didn't own property, only the elite, only the rich owned property. And they wanted to include everyone, but they also, at that time, fortune, success, power was represented by property. And so property won out. And the last day they were going to meet, July 3rd, when they convened, when they adjourned on July 3rd, 1776. They were going to come back the next day, July 4th, 1776, and either sign the document or not. And they needed a certain number of signatures from each colony to make it valid. Well, even then, most of the delegates were not going to sign this document because they were concerned that we would not be successful in freeing ourselves from the oppressor, Britain, and they would lose their fortune, they would lose their property. And what happened that night is very powerful. And I looked this up in diaries and journals because in those days we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have Twitter. People kept journals and diaries, which really served the same function as Twitter and Facebook and our websites. And I actually, in the Boston Public Library, I looked up a lot of these old documents, and in the journals and notebooks and diaries of these original delegates to the Congress at that time, they had written that that night, 16 of the members who were the delegates from the colonies, 16 of the members had visitations that night, including Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. And that night, 16 of them reported in their diaries and journals that they had a visitation. Some of them called it an angel, some of it called it a dream, some of it called it an ascended master, but they wrote that they had a visitation from some higher power either in their dream or consciously, and some said that they were fully awake when they talked to this being. And the message that they all got from these visitations was, sign that document. And some of them were shown what would happen to America if they didn't sign this document. The very unpleasant future that America would have if they didn't declare their independence from the cultural conditioning, from the box they'd inherited from Britain. And so they were convinced the next day, July 4th, 1776, these delegates who had the visitation came in and they signed this document. Well, Thomas Jefferson had a glitch, a very powerful glitch that he was very concerned about. When he had his visitation, the angel, or that being, his higher self, whatever you want to call it, it told him to change the last word in that famous line, that among our unalienable rights is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And he argued with this being and said, I can't change property to happiness. We're all property owners. Property is what's important to everyone. It ensures your survival and your power and your ability to take care of your family and yourself. I can't take property out of the document. And yet, that being, that higher being, convinced Thomas Jefferson that this was a higher calling, that this was a wiser move. And he said, okay, I will present it to the delegates. But he said they weren't even going to sign the original. So he goes in and he says, not only do I want you to sign this document that most of you are reluctant to sign, I've made one final change. I changed property to happiness. Well, because these other delegates had these visitations, and I suspect some of the other delegates also might have had a vibrational or energetic or spiritual experience that they may not have been aware of, but a majority of the delegates signed this new document that declared that we all have an inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that has guided our country. And I feel that it has been one of the most powerful aspects of the American dream, of the American initiative, of the American energy that the whole world is so excited about and is attracted to. And that is that we're always assisting each other and opening the space and creating a country, an environment, conditions in which everyone can pursue happiness. So I invite you to explore the power of play in your life. Take an outrageous voyage through humanity, through your humanity, and explore the possibilities of the expansion of your own self-expression and your own enjoyment of being here on earth. Explore the possibilities of play, spontaneity, improvisation, because these qualities are actually central to our humanity and to our health and to our happiness. Ancient peoples and tribal peoples knew this. Ancestral peoples and native indigenous people knew the power of play, song, dance, and lightness. If they had a challenge, i.e. problem, but if they had a challenge in those days, no one could come up with a solution or any good ideas on how to resolve the situation, then the whole tribe, the whole group, either through ceremony or spontaneously, would sing and dance, tell songs, until they all shifted, until some member of the group had a new idea, had some new alternative or option, something they hadn't seen before, in order to solve their situation, to meet that challenge. And we lost that to a great degree in this society with our seriousness. But you can instill that back into your life. Song, dance, play. And move into a new arena of creativity, inventiveness. When you open to life in this way, your life becomes very magical. And you experience life through the wonderment of a child and through the creativity of a child. Your life becomes an adventure. Innocent, open, lighthearted, filled with humor and play. So if you would like to take out your pen again and paper And you may or may not want to write these down, but it can be fun to compare them with the beginning. And so at this point, you might already feel your heart is open, but it never hurts to open it some more. So let's just take a moment to open our heart, to drop into the field of the heart. And one way you can do that is simply by rolling your eyes back and then rolling your consciousness, your awareness, back down your neck, into your chest, into the field of the heart. Or intuition, wisdom, knowing, source. So of course you roll your eyeball back. Of course your eyeballs only go so far. And then continue to roll your awareness down your neck, into your chest. So you feel a dropping down. And you might do it 2 or 3 times until you really feel that you've dropped down. Your attention, your awareness is now centered in your body, from the center of your being. And you feel a dropping down into that space of grace, wisdom, lovingness, compassion, and infinite possibility, infinite information. So play with that until you feel you've dropped into your heart, whatever that means for you. And then, if you would like, I'll ask you some questions and just see what comes up. See what your response is. You can write it down or not, whatever you choose. So, if you knew in your knowing, which is your heart, which is source, which is your intuition, if you knew how to make your life more fun, more creative, what would you do? If you knew how to increase the income in your life, how would you do it? If you knew ways in which you could create better outcomes in your life, love, money, health, if you knew how you could create better outcomes, how would you do it? If your financial situation were better, how would it feel? If your money situation were better, more flowing, more abundant, what would it look like? What would your life look like? If you had more money, if you had more ability to travel, play, do what you want each day, what would your life be like? Just take whatever comes up. If I would consult my heart, the field of my heart, or intuition, if I would consult my heart more often about money, about financial matters, about my career, about making a living, what would it tell me? If I would consult my heart more often about my life, what would it tell me? What would it advise? What would it say? If I knew in my knowing, if I knew how to make my life more creative, inventive, playful, enjoyable, how would I do it? And then let go. These are prayers, requests, intentions. The question is an intention, it's a request, it's a prayer, and then you let it go. And through the synchronicities and signs and however you allow yourself to be guided, you will be guided to the answers and your life will change. Your life will change in the direction of being more fun, lighter, more abundant. And as the musician Willie Nelson says in one of his songs, you know, some things are just too important to take seriously. Some things in life are just too important to take seriously. Thank you.